All right, so I know y'all want a break, but I think we should still talk about it. I'm the librarian, and I came to read. So, and she already knows who she is, but she asked me in a live stream if I could make a video about, I think, like living loca. She's beautiful. You already know who you are. She asked me if I could do a video on surviving grad school and shit. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna do a whole thing on college in general. Just do a whole video on college and being in college in general. I'm gonna give you guys 4 tips so that just to prevent me from ranting and raving on and on and on, just to give me some boundaries, I'm gonna give you 4 tips on how I survived it. Now, just some background in case some of you guys don't know, I got my bachelor's from Florida State in sociology, of course, and minor in communications, and I got my master's degree from the same school in integrated marketing communication. So unfortunately, I know a little bit too much about college campuses. I know a little bit too much about college campuses, and I also know a little bit too much about about having student loan debt. I don't know a lot about student loan debt. I just know I got a lot of that shit. Now, for me, college was kind of a difficult transition. I came from a pretty rigorous ass high school program. If you guys have been following me for years, you'll know that I got my international baccalaureate degree when I was in high school. Now, that IB program, that's what they called it, IB, International Baccalaureate, it was intense. Like, as I said, they had me writing essays in Spanish. Like, I was in AP Spanish language and they wanted me to go to AP Spanish lit. I said absolutely fucking not. Like, I barely like English lit and I'm forced to do this shit. I'm not gonna get my ass in goddamn AP Spanish lit. It's not gonna fucking happen. So like, it was pretty, as I said, it was pretty intense. There were a few teachers. It was a system, it was an ecosystem of people that, you know, cared about, I don't know if they cared about us, but they definitely cared about the scores that we were gonna get. That's schooling in general. They cared about the scores that we were gonna get. So I was surrounded, I was in a system that kind of, you know, helped your ass out. A lot of students would, girl, they got study groups, girl, they're ready to do the hard ass work and help you achieve whatever it is that you wanna achieve. But at the same time, make sure you get them fucking IB scores and AP scores correct. So like I came from that system, I came from that environment and went to college. Now, university is just like, okay girl, like you can do what you wanna do. It's your prerogative. It's your prerogative. So when I first got there, I mean, I think I had 1 A and the rest were C's. Like for the first semester, I was just like, girl, I don't know what this is. So I took that same mentality like, oh girl, you gotta really sit down, you gotta learn, you gotta make sure you know everything because they're gonna ask you shit. I took that same mentality and applied it to college. And that shit don't work. It doesn't work. It's not the same as high school, girl. You can't carry that same energy there. So that brings me to my first point, girl. Work smart, not hard. Do not be slaving yourself out, working all hours of the motherfucking night. So I promise you, sis, if you don't know it at 2 a.m., you're not gonna know it at 8 a.m. You're not gonna know it. It's not gonna happen, sis. So work smart. Don't work hard, work smart, okay? Because these people, I promise you, the teachers are working smart too. They're not sitting here reading all through your shit. That girl, did you do certain things? They checking that shit off and moving on. And in working smart, that means surrounding yourself with people who are just like, girl, we're gonna sit down in a group. If you want to do a group study, we're gonna sit down in a group study for a good hour, maybe 2, and that's it. We're not gonna be sitting in a library for fucking 6 hours. That don't work. I mean, I don't know about the medical field, or maybe that's different, but that does not work, sis. Short bursts of powerful study groups or study hours, and that's it. You're gonna be sitting in the fucking library for 6 hours for what? You looking at the same page 5 times. No ma'am. And then working smarter, that also involves, you know, asking people around. Did you take this class? What do I need to know? Do I need to buy the book for this motherfucker? If I don't, I'm not buying the fucking book. I promise you, even when I was in grad school, I'm talking about undergrad, but this also goes for grad school. There are certain classes, I'm not buying the book. I'm not buying the book. The teacher, I'm asking around, does the teacher pull from the book? If he don't, I'm not buying that shit. Learn what they want you to learn and get the fuck out of the university. That's it. Regurgitate what they want you to regurgitate and get out of the university. I promise you, because when you get into the work field, they're gonna turn that shit around. They're gonna take that shit and be like, all right, girl, that was cute what you learned in school, but this is how we do it over here in this firm or at this job. So do what they ask you to do and get the fuck out. Don't work hard, work smart, ask around, get the resources that you need, ignore the ones that you don't, especially because they're expensive, and keep it moving. The second thing is know that you're not alone, know that you're not crazy, okay? I know when I first came to college, and even I still had to break myself out of it in undergrad. I was constantly comparing myself to other people. Like, oh my gosh, they seem like they have it all together. Meanwhile, I'm over here stressed out. I'm over here stressed. You know, I felt like I was the only one. Like, am I going crazy? Like, is no one else feeling the pressure that, I mean, I got all these classes and every one of these classes think that they're my only class that I'm taking. Is everyone around me feeling this, or am I the only one who's just like succumbing under this, you know, collapsing under this pressure? And I promise you, you're not. Because it took me a couple semesters to get into school and realize that I went to a PWI, but these hoes were popping pills. And like, there's no other way to say that shit. And even college students will tell you that shit. These people were popping pills. And I wasn't. So I was like, how is everyone just like super chill, remaining focused? They popping all type of shit to stay focused. And that, I can only imagine that continues in the workplace, niggas doing lines and shit. But I promise you, you are not alone. You're not crazy. You don't feel bad if you're stressed the fuck out. That's what college does to you. You're not a weirdo if you don't want to be doing shit, if you don't want to fucking wake up. Like, girl, that's what college does to you, which is, we could have a whole other discussion about the legitimacy of college and, you know, the scamming and shit that goes on in that shit. We could talk about all that shit, but all I'm saying is understand that if you do feel stressed out, if you do feel overworked, you are not alone. No matter the facades, no matter the, you know, fakeness, the pretending that these other college students like to act and all in your face like, oh, well, I got this, I got that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Do what you're capable of doing. And of course, there's certain things that you have to do because that's life. You're forced to do them. But if you have control, do the things that you like to do, that you're capable of doing, that you're comfortable with doing, that will let you get the degree that you want. Don't overwork yourself. You don't know what these people are doing. You don't know the type of pills they fucking popping. You know the type of pressure they get from home to do the certain things that you over here overworking yourself or stressing out about because don't measure yourself against someone else. You're not alone. You're not crazy. You will survive it. So my other point now is to schedule time for procrastination. And I'm sure that there are teachers, I'm sure that there are people like professors who are watching this shit just like, girl, what the fuck are you telling them? Why are you telling them this? But I'm trying to be real here. Like, I'm trying to be as real as possible. I'm not gonna be one of them girls. I'm not gonna be one of them girls talking about, oh, well, if you just time manage and just put everything together, everything will be okay. Yeah, everything will be okay if your spirit works like that, if that's who you are, and you're a good time manager. That's cute. But for me, I know that was something that I had to work on. That was a personality trait that I needed to work on. And me working on that shit right now is not gonna be conducive to me getting this fucking 10-page paper done. It's not gonna be. Like, girl, that's something I got to grow as a human and do. Maybe somebody else is more mature and they can change how they are for school and shit like that. That was not me. So what I did, I scheduled time for me to be an idiot. That's what I did. I scheduled time for me to procrastinate. I'm getting a project from the beginning of the semester. I know myself. I'm not gonna start that shit until 2 weeks before or 1 week before it's due. It depends on what it is, girl, because grad school, you can't do that shit in certain cases. In certain cases, you can't do that shit with grad school. Grad school, you got whole research papers and studies to do, depending, you know what I mean? That's different. So I would say, obviously, give yourself time and ration it out. Don't think that you have to sit down and get everything done in one thing, in one sitting. But as far as these other assignments and shit, I know myself. I know if I get it at the beginning of the semester, I'm not gonna start that shit. I know. So why am I gonna bullshit myself, girl? So I schedule time for my procrastination. I just make sure that these other shits, you know, I can get them out of the way, make sure they're done, because I know I'm not gonna start this big project until 2 weeks before it says. I know that's me. So schedule time. If you constantly find yourself fucking up or doing dumb shit, schedule time for that dumb shit, because obviously your dumb ass ain't gonna change it. You know, if you've been struggling for 10 years to change this shit about yourself, sis, okay, you might need to put that shit on pause for the 4 or 6 years that you're in school and schedule time for you to be a dumbass so you can get that shit done, and then maybe after that you can work on your personality traits. But as of right now, with all that fucking pressure from school and all this bullshit, girl, schedule time for you to be a dumbass. Schedule time for you to procrastinate. Schedule time for you to be looking at pages 10 times and not knowing what the fuck going on. Start to learn yourself, learn who you are, learn your habits, learn what you do and schedule time for it. I know that may sound enabling and shit. You might have to be. It might have to be. Okay? This is university. They don't play no type of games. If you fail this motherfucking class, you pay for it and you have to pay for it again. If it's required, you have to do that shit again to get your goddamn degree. Schedule time for your fucked up ass personality. That's all I'm saying. And this last one, I guess, ties into the previous one I spoke about saying that you aren't lonely, you're not crazy if you feel certain things. But this last one is, you're not a bad person if you need a break. You're not a bad person if you need to just say, hey bitch, I'm not doing that shit today. Like, sometimes you may need to just lay out the pros and cons. Girl, can I afford to fuck this shit up? You know, based off the rest of my grades, I've been doing this all semester. Today, I don't feel like doing this bullshit. And I, like, it can weigh your pros and cons, weigh your options out, and balance it for your mental health. Like, it is okay. I don't know, we're in a society where it's almost like you are not worth anything to anyone if you're not constantly working yourself to the bone and exhausting yourself until you can't be anything or say anything anymore. It's almost like you aren't worth anything, you're not useful to us if you aren't constantly working every waking moment of your life. It is okay to be like, girl, I'm not doing that bullshit. You know, I've weighed out my pros and cons. I've done this, this, and this, and if I fail this shit, my grade will still be here. Like, it's okay if you need a break. It's okay. It does not feel like it when you're in university. It does not feel like it. A lot of times there's certain things where you can't afford to not do. I'm not gonna bullshit that. I'm not gonna lie to your face and say that. But I'm saying with the things that you can't afford to not do, and it's really pressing on you and it's just too much stress and shit, sometimes you may need to just fall back. And you aren't a bad person if you need to do that. You aren't a bad person, because I promise you, the only thing that they would do if something happens to your ass, the only thing that they would do is give you an honorary degree with your dead ass and keep it fucking moving and hand the degree to the next person. This is a system, and they don't care who they bulldoze, they don't care who they run over, they don't care. It's all about stats. It's all about who's passing these tests. It's all about the rate of graduation and about how many kids are enrolling in our school. That's all they want. They don't give a fuck about, and money. They don't give a fuck about anything else. Okay, so I promise you, if something ends up happening to you where you overstressed and I don't know, girl, you do something to yourself, they don't care. They don't care. They will keep it moving. They will keep it. It's somebody else who want to get into school. So that's what I'm saying. If they don't care about your mental health, you do. You have to care. Okay, I can understand, you know, you're under pressure from your parents and shit like that, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to deal with yourself. That's it. All you got in this world is you. So if you need to take a goddamn break, if you need to sit your ass down, if you need to take a ride to the motherfucking park and breathe and do some exercise, you need to meditate, you need to go fucking have a good ass night on the town with your goddamn friends, your girls, your Judies, do what you need to do, sis, because if something, as I said, ain't nobody else take care of you like you, okay? So I know that I was all over the place. I know that was all over the place. I know that, like, it was like some weird ass advice, probably some shit that's enabling a little bit. But I want to be real. I want to be real with you. Like, some of the shit that they do in university is a complete scam. They just want you to regurgitate the information that they gave to you. Yeah, I would say time management is important, of course, but also reasonable, realistic time management. You know that your ass ain't fit. You don't follow strict ass schedules and shit like that, girl. Let's be real. Be real with yourself. Okay, and I think that's where you can start making decisions that make sense, and in turn, school might be a little bit easier for you to get through. Hopefully I made sense. I'm not an expert at all. I hated school when I was in it. I love learning, I just hate school. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and hopefully in your dorms or in your apartments, on campus, whatever, you can have a good goddamn evening.